This is a second brain quite different from other Notion templates. After months of creating free templates on this channel, testing out dozens of productivity techniques in my own life, and tweaking my productivity system every week, I've created what I believe to be a Notion dashboard that will keep you organized, productive, and motivated. But this is just my opinion, so I want yours. This is a beta walkthrough video. Drop as many comments as you want down below about your thoughts on the second brain Notion template. I want as much feedback as possible before the actual launch. If there are common issues or things that keep popping up, then I'll fix them before launching. I want to make a template that you don't stop using after a week, but one that actually impacts your life. Not only is this a walkthrough video, but I'll give 5 things that changed the way that I use Notion, and 5 mistakes that I see other Notion dashboard templates make. If you want to be notified on launch, then subscribe to my Gumroad newsletter, and you'll get 10% off on launch date. Introducing Headquarters. Organized, productive, and motivated. Designed for utility to maximize your performance throughout the day and to get more done on a consistent basis. In this video, we'll go through this template and how I've designed tasks for the day, the week, the month, your tasks with no date associated with them, your projects, your workspaces, and your life buckets. Now, I know this may look boring, but that actually comes down to mistake number 1. Now, as you can see, there's no widgets, there's no random photos, no inspirational quotes, nothing like that. I won't go on too much about this anymore as I've made videos about it in the past. So let's have a proper look through this, and I'll give you the reasons behind some of the design decisions that I've made, and how that's impacted this Notion dashboard. Now, you might have heard me say this before in previous videos. Your day is your to-do list. Now, there's no columns, subscribers know how much I hate them. Instead, there are well-designed databases that connect together and that are filtered and sorted in the most strategic way possible. So you can see your day, your week, and your month. Now, this looks a bit empty here, so let's put in some examples. For today, let's put in record headquarters video. As you can see, it appears up here in my day and also here in my week. And we can also see that it appears here on the month view. Let's go back to the week's uncompleted tasks. Now, one thing you might have seen from previous videos, a feature that I absolutely love, if you tick the done here, as you can see, it got removed from this view, but we can still access it here. So let's just untick that. Let's click on this item here. Now, we have a few different things that we're working with. Urgency, importance, state, time, which bucket it belongs to, which project, and a time tracker. Now, I'll get into these details further into the video. Lesson number 2, templates for reviewing. So this right here is the to-do list database. So we'll just click on this, and here we can see some of the templates that I've set up in this dashboard. My life dramatically changed when I started journaling and reviewing my weeks. Through journaling and reflection, I realized that I wasn't on the right path that I wanted to be on. And without allowing time to go through these prompts, this was holding me back as I was going in the wrong direction. So here we have a daily journal entry, a weekly review, and a monthly review. We'll take a deeper look into these later on in the video. Mistake number 2, thinking every task is as important as the next one. So in this headquarters template, we have 3 variables: the importance, the urgency, and the state of mind that you need for this task. This idea comes from the Eisenhower matrix. I've done a previous video on that, and other tools that are used for figuring out your priorities. We have important, not important, and move the needle. I'll explain move the needle later. For urgency, we have urgent, not urgent, or a habit. And for state of mind, we have, is it a flow task? So something that involves quite a deep focus to do. Is it a quick task? Something that's like a 3-5 minute task. Something that's easy, a bit more of a shallow task that might be a 20-minute task or up to an hour, but it's just not too cognitively demanding? Or is it something that we can outsource? So the reason that we have these 3 variables is it just comes down to being realistic and creating a well-balanced schedule, which leads on to the next mistake. You can't do everything in one day. Now, a lot of Notion templates presume for some reason you can get an endless amount of tasks done in a day, and that's just not realistic. Now for me, I think a realistic balance is something like this. A quick win in the morning, so subscribe to this channel as an example, it only takes 2 seconds. Then we have an eat the frog after that, so record this headquarters video. Then 2 easy tasks, like design the Gumroad cover for this template and read through my comments. And then another flow state task, like edit this video. Something like this is a realistic day. So the reason we have importance, urgency, and state of mind is that everything urgent and important doesn't have to be something that's a flow state. Sometimes it's easy. As you can see here, designing the Gumroad cover is super important. I can't upload the product without it. It's urgent because I have to do it ASAP for uploading this product. But it's something that's quite easy to do. But we can obviously have stuff that's important and urgent and requires the flow state. So once you've figured out your kind of limit for how many items you can do in a day, how do we go about crafting the perfect day? Well, what we do is scroll down to this section here. Here we have a filter. We are only seeing tasks here that are incomplete. If they're complete, they won't show up in this list here called order. And we're actually sorting these by order of importance and urgency. So as you can see here, the important urgent ones are showing up first, with urgency having top ranking and then importance underneath that. So in this example here, we can see important, urgent, these three, they come up first. Then this one here, which is urgent but not important, shows up here above subscribe to this channel, which is important but it's not urgent, even though I recommend you do. So to show you how you would design an ideal day, I'm just going to delete these dates. As you can see, it still shows up here even though there's no date associated with it. Now I want to plan my day. I know what ingredients I need. So first I want to select a quick win, something to just get the ball rolling on the day. So in this tab here, I have a list of everything that's labeled quick. So if I add something new here, it automatically gets tagged with quick. Subscribe to my Gumroad newsletter. Let's do that. So when we're seeing this empty space here on Saturday and I need a quick win, I'll just drag this here. As you can see, it's still showing up here, but now there's a date associated with it. Now the next thing I need is an Eat the Frog. Now an Eat the Frog is something that requires flow state. It's something that's typically urgent and important, but as we established before, it doesn't have to be. So under this flow tab, I can see all of my tasks which have the flow state. So here, I'll just drag this into the day. Now the next thing I wanted is 2 easy tasks. So I'll click on the easy tab, go here, and let's say I want these 2. Just drag them in like this. As you can see, it's a really easy interface to work with. And now the last thing is I need another flow state task. So I'll go over to flow and say, okay, I want to edit this video as well. Drag it in, and there we go. Now we have the day, and up here I can rearrange these to work to my liking. So I'll do this task first, then record the video, that will be my Eat the Frog, do an easy one, do another easy one, and then end with a flow state. Now it's always great to plan your day the night before. So I've added this tomorrow tab where you can actually start dragging in items and planning your day the night before, so when you wake up you know exactly what your agenda is. Mistake number 4, habits in Notion. Now I've done videos about this in the past. I do not think that your habits should be a separate database. I believe they should be part of your day. So in my day here, I can see I actually don't have any habits. So let's add one. We'll add new, click on open, and then as you can see here, I've preloaded habit 1, 2, and 3. Now, obviously I've just left them blank so you can write in whatever your habit is. So if you want to have these as cold shower, let's say, and it automatically tags it as a habit, then you can drag this to whenever you want to do it. Let's say first thing in the morning for a cold shower. Now, let's say you hate cold showers, you live in Norway, you can easily change this. Click on the down arrow, go over to any one of these 3 habits, click on the 3 dots, click on edit, and now here you can see you're editing a template. So if you write cold shower here, then the habit 1 will be called cold shower instead. And as you can see, this habit tag is already part of the template. This is an important part of tracking habits, and you'll see why later on. And the reason I've done this is, the idea behind headquarters is that 90% of your time will be spent on this one page. And a mistake I see other Notion second brains or just other Notion templates in general making is that they require you to visit like 10 pages per day. You need to click on the journal page in the morning, then on the habits, and then on your tasks, and then on your projects, and then on this page to add a quick note, and you get the point. The idea behind headquarters is that you have a singular page that houses your tasks, your projects, your life buckets, while still providing quick access to vital workspaces. And please subscribe. I can see that most of you aren't actually subscribed. Lesson 3, the 80-20 rule. Now, I did something very different with this. I recently started listing which activities I've done throughout my week that actually changed my life, or at least had a really big impact. The things that moved the needle. You might have heard of Pareto's principle, also known as the 80-20 rule. In terms of productivity, this often holds true. 20% of the things you're doing carry 80% of the outcome. So only 20% of what you're doing is moving the needle. So how are we meant to know what's actually moving the needle? Well, it's not a guessing game anymore. I've made this super easy. Maybe when we're journaling, we look back and we realize, oh, this email that I sent to this one person had a really big impact on my career. So in order to reflect but actually take action on it, I've created a dedicated space called Move the Needle. So I'll show you with an example. Let's say this was the task here, send email to prospect. Now as you can see, I had it marked as not urgent and not important, and it was fairly easy. But after doing our journaling, which I'll get to later, we might realize this was a task that moved the needle. So we can actually change this importance from not important to move the needle. Now I'll scroll down to this workspace here called Move the Needle. Don't worry, you'll get a tour of all of these. We'll open this up. Now, as you can see on this page, we have Send Email to Prospect as Move the Needle. And having a dedicated space in your headquarters to see and reflect on which items move the needle for you is essential in steering the ship in the right direction. The more that this list here will build, obviously there's just one example here now, but the more that this builds, you can pick up on the activities that you're doing that's having an actual impact. And once you know that, you'll know where to focus your energy. Mistake number 5. Complex doesn't mean sophisticated. I've actually tried to keep this as simple as possible, and I know you might be thinking this looks quite complicated and there's a lot going on. There's a lot of sub-pages, which is really useful, and yes, I'll go through all of these, but I've actually kept it reasonably simple whilst having all of the necessary functionality. I've done a lot of research on Notion templates, and I find that a lot of them just jam-pack stuff with like a ton of properties and just random, different pages here and there. It just becomes overwhelming and you stop using it. Lesson number 4. If you've been a subscriber since my first ever video, you know I am huge on tracking your time. Time blocking, time tracking, time boxing, scheduling, etc. A lot of these principles are the same. For an effective day, where you finish feeling accomplished and not wondering where did my day go, you'll want to implement this method. Built in seamlessly in the day view, you can easily plan out your day and assign times to tasks. So let's go here, 7 a.m. Subscribe to my newsletter, let's say 7:30. Record headquarters video, do that at 8. Design cover, 12. Read through comments, 1 o'clock. Edit the headquarters video, 2 o'clock. That took 2 seconds to do, and now I have a proper plan for my day. Now, I've seen a lot of time tracker templates, and I don't like many of them, to be honest. I wanted to keep this very simple. And I asked myself, well, why track your time in the first place? Well, for me, I wanted to know how much actual time do I spend on projects and on specific life buckets. Now, I've been tracking my time religiously for the past month, and I've realized a few interesting takeaways from this experiment. Separate video coming soon on that. But I wouldn't have had these realizations without a dedicated space for this. So when filling out a task, we want to know a few things. What time are we going to do it? Has it been done? What's the actual task? What's the importance level? What's the urgency? What's the state? And does it belong in a life bucket or a project? So I've added a few life buckets in here as examples. Obviously you can add or delete any of these, but all of these pages have been set up and I'll walk you through that as well. So record headquarters video, that belongs in business. Design Gumroad cover, that belongs in business. And so does read through my comments and edit headquarters video. And then we can also connect it to a specific project. Now in the projects database here, you can see I actually don't have any set up. This is where you'll enter all of the projects that you have going on. So if we scroll back up, here we can see the time tracker. Record headquarter videos. I thought that would take 4 hours, but you know what? Let's say it only took 2 hours. I'll put 120 minutes there. Design Gumroad cover, let's say that took 60. Read through comments, that took 60. And edit the headquarters video actually ended up taking 4 hours. Now we aren't just filling out these details for fun. It's actually going to be really useful in our reflections. So let's say I've completed all of these. Tick them in. As you can see, it gets removed from this view here, and we'll scroll down now to the time tracker page. Click on this. Now if we scroll down, we can see it's grouped by either the life bucket or the project. So right now I only have tasks in the business bucket, but as an example, if I change this to fitness, you can see that the fitness group appears here with this task here. I'll just change this back. Now on this time tracker page, we can see the minutes here in the track column, and we have a formula here to see how many hours. So one thing that I found really interesting is seeing where does my time go. So once you have all of your different life buckets and all of your different projects on this page, you can actually see where your time's going. So maybe on this page you'll see for the past month I've spent 100 hours on my business, but I've only spent 3 hours with family and friends as an example. So this is a really interesting way to not only just track your time for the sake of tracking time, but actually to do some reflection based on that. Lesson number 5. You don't have goals. That's not a bad thing, by the way. I mean that in a good way. To run a marathon, that's not a goal. That's a project. To grow my business, that's not a goal. That's a life bucket. Meditating, for example, that's not a goal. That's a habit. Or learning to code, that's not a goal. That's a project with broken down tasks. My point is that 99% of these templates have goal pages, but you don't need that. You need to complete projects that have meaning to you, and you need to stick with the habits that you've set. Alright, let's go through the rest of the template. If you're like me, and you have just a bunch of different ideas throughout the day, you need a place to enter those ideas that get sorted into the right category so you can access them later on without getting distracted right now in the moment. So to fix that, I've created this button here, take a quick note. I've also got other buttons like add a resource, create a do now task, add a quick task, and create a task. I'll go through the rest of these, but let's look at take a quick note. So let's say I think of a video idea, 5 productivity hacks. Then I can select the life bucket that it belongs in, so business. I can select a project if it belongs in one, so for me I have no projects in here at the moment. And I can also connect it to a topic of interest. So right now I'd connect it to productivity. So then when I click away, where does it go? This is just a button, and once I've clicked away, it's gone. That's the whole point of it. You can quickly take notes and then you don't have to get distracted by it. But now let's say you want to access it. Well, you can actually find it in a bunch of different places. All the places that you would want to find it. So we can find it in the Quick Notes workspace. So let's click on this, make this full page. And as you can see right here, we have 5 productivity hacks. If I want, I can archive it and it gets removed from here. So if I click on archived, we can see it here. I'll just untick that. Well, I don't want to just see it on there. I also want to see it on the business page. So if I scroll down and go to my life bucket of business and click on here, as you can see, I'll make this full page. As you can see, I have my notes and archived in here with 5 productivity hacks. And then above that, we can see my tasks. So this has a filter on it to only show my tasks that involve my business. That way, if I'm working on my business and I want to be on that page, I have a separate dashboard with just the tasks revolving this life bucket. I can also click on this month and see all of the tasks relating to this bucket. And as you can see, here are the tasks that we created before. So not only is this on the business page, but it's on the fitness page, it's on the life admin page, it's on the relationship page, and the family and friends page. Now for career, I've left this blank. I don't know what your career is, so this one's quite difficult to make a page for. But let's go into the job page. So this page basically has filters on it to only show stuff that's in the job category. So this way you can utilize Notion and not have your personal stuff showing up whilst you're at work. So we obviously have the day view, we have the week view of uncompleted, all the tasks this week, so even if they have been completed, and then a full month view. Down here we have a list of all your uncompleted work jobs, and we have a list of all your tasks if you should ever need that. Then here we have a database of your work projects. So there's a filter on this again to just have stuff that's relating to your job. So if you create a project here for your work, like fix the website, then what you can do is use this template here. Now I've already created a template for every single project, and you'll see how this works. Once you click on that template, I'll make this full screen. This template in here lets us see just tasks involving this project. So to do that, all we need to do is change the filter to contain fix website. Same thing for completed tasks, for notes, and archived. It takes like 2 seconds. So now on this page, we're just seeing tasks that are connected to not only my job, but this specific project at work. This is a super efficient way to work on tasks and not get distracted by everything else in your to-do list. If your job's to fix the website, for example, you can add tasks in here like change banner, for example, and because it belongs on this project, you're seeing it here. Alright, let's go over the rest of these buttons. We have create a task, add a quick task, and create a do now task. It's just like they sound. Create a task, you can instantly add a task to your task list, do the thing. You can select the date to it, you can select an urgency, importance, blah, blah, blah. I'll just tick away. As you can see, do the thing shows up here in my task list under the no date tab. But if we click in the order tab, we can also see it here. But because it doesn't have an importance or urgency, it's down here. If we change it to important and urgent, you can see that it instantly moves to the top. Now for add a quick task, basically it just automatically creates the state quick. We don't have to worry about filling that out. Same idea for the last one, create a do now task. If I click that, it automatically has urgent and important in there. So when I add a task, I can add a state, all of this stuff as usual. I can add a bucket if I want, project, all of that stuff. Then when I click away and scroll down, as you can see, save the world is high importance, very urgent. It requires flow state and it's at the top of this list. And because it's tagged in flow, it will also be here under flow. Not that it's not important, but I'm going to delete this task. Now we've talked about adding a quick note. Let's talk about adding a resource. If I click on this, let's say we have a video that's really good. Let's say it's my Eisenhower Matrix video. I can put the link down here. I can embed it. And then for type, I'm going to select video. My topic of interest is productivity. Creator is Notion setups. You don't have to fill in these details if you don't want to, but if you fill in topic of interest, for example, then you will be able to see this video on the productivity page. So let's just click away. Now in this instance, like before with notes, I just saw this resource, I want to watch it later, so I just add a resource and boom, click away. It's gone out of mine, but I've got it in my resources. Now, let's say I want to go through my resources. I scroll down, and here next to Quick Notes, we can find resources. Click on that. Let's make this full page. So this is the resources page, and we can sort by books, courses, webinars, podcasts, videos, coaching, articles, newsletters, posts, files, topic. So you can sort by topic. So this is productivity and running. Obviously, you can add in as many topics as you want. And we can sort by not finished yet. So that's how the resources page works. If you're a subscriber, you might have seen my timetable video. I've added that in here, where basically you can see your week as a timetable. Maybe you study or you have ongoing commitments at the same time every week. You can plan that in here so you can see that. An exercise that I really like to do is creating an ideal schedule. I'll just do this full screen. It's the same concept as the timetable, but we're creating an ideal schedule. So down here, we'll add in the ideal life activities that you would be doing in your ideal schedule. This is more of an exercise just to figure out what do you want in life and how do you want your week to look. Monday, I want to be doing activity 3, Tuesday, activity 2, and so on and so forth. It's just a really good exercise to see what do I want my week to look like, and then when you're going back and looking at your weeks, how close is my ideal schedule looking to my actual week? I'll go back to the headquarters here. We have the move the needle page, which we went through before. Time tracking we went through before. Habit tracker is exactly what it sounds like. We'll open this up. We want to see habits that we've done in the past month and that we've actually done. So if they're completed. Then here we'll see the full list. It's basically just a good way of actually seeing how much I've actually done. But if you don't want to see the list view, of course, there's a month view and you can see that here. So cold showers is ticked in for this. We have outsourcing, which is basically filtered to only see the stuff that is where the state is outsource. We have a page here called open loops, which is a really great idea where basically you're just seeing your projects that are unfinished or your unfinished tasks. The idea of open loops is it's stressful wondering to yourself, what are all the things that I haven't completed and going to bed not knowing all of this stuff. So you can find this here very easily. And secondly, there's very little return on investment from not finishing a project. All the actual returns come from finishing a project, which is a lesson that I never learned. So you can find a list of your unfinished projects here and your unfinished tasks. Here we have the bottlenecks, which is basically your tasks in order of urgency and importance, broken down by bucket and by project. We have a topics page, which is connected to the quick notes and to the resources. So let's click on it, full screen. Basically here you'll have a list of all your topics. But if we open up one of these, like productivity, for example, so on this we can actually see all of the resources that are to do with productivity and all of the notes that are also to do with productivity. So let's say you're learning about the topic of productivity, you can go into this space here and start filling out resources and quick notes and things that you've learned. So if you're thinking about productivity and you want to see everything that you've been learning about and taking notes about, you can find all of that in here. Obviously, I just have 2 examples here, but you can add these endlessly. And I've already created a template for this. So every new topic, it's super easy to set that up. All right, we're back here and we have this page, which I just think is awesome. It's called the mobile headquarters. I'll make this full screen. Basically, I just wanted a simplified version of the headquarters that you can see on your mobile. I'm presuming when you're sitting down to work, you're probably not doing that on your phone. However, on your phone, you can add a widget very easily to have this mobile HQ page. So it shows up on your home screen. And then you can quickly add a task, add a quick task, create a do now task, take a quick note, add a resource, like instantly on your phone. And then you know it will go to the right place, so when you need access to it, you know where it is. But then underneath that, we have a gallery view of your day. So I'll untick some of these. So if you did want to see your to-do list for the day on your phone, you can easily do that. You can tick them off on your phone as well. And they're just grouped in 2 categories, the undone and the done. So you can see all the undones come up here and all the dones are here. You can also click to see the month view, and here you can see your month on your phone. All right, let's go back. If you're studying and that's part of your life buckets, you can click on here. So on this study page, we have projects. Only projects that are related to study are showing up here. You would also put your assignments in this projects page. You can put in your courses here and take notes on specific courses. And we have a timetable that's connected to these courses so you can see your entire week. So let's say Monday at 8 o'clock, you have marketing. Tick that in and that's showing up there. If you ever want quick access to any of these pages, all you do is go up to the top here and click add to favorites. Then this will show up in your side menu. I'll just untick that. Then let's have a look at the journal page. I'll make this full screen. In here we can see our daily journals, our weekly journals, and our monthly journals. When answering some of the prompts, we will want to know what tasks we've completed this week, so we can see that here, as well as seeing the week's view of all the habits we completed this week for when answering the journaling prompts. Speaking of, let's look at the journaling prompts. In here, let's add an item, and when you add an item, scroll down, all of these templates will already be in here. So let's select weekly review. Here are the questions that I ask myself, and obviously you can change it. Looking at my task list completed this week, do I feel like I accomplished enough? What are my biggest distractions this week? What are my biggest bottlenecks at the moment? What did I do that really helped move the needle? Change these items' importance from move the needle if they've had a big impact on your life. Looking at my habits this week, do I feel like I did enough? If so, what helped me stick to my habits? If not, how do I actually stick to my habits next week? So let's look at the monthly. Click on these three dots and click edit. Now, as you can see, when you create a monthly review, it automatically tags it with a habit, as not important, as easy, and under the bucket journal. Obviously, you can change this as however you want. If you want this to be important, then that's absolutely fine. You can change that in the template here. So the prompts that I've chosen, obviously you can edit this to however you want, but the ones I have are go through your task list in the past month and select the items that you think move the needle. We were looking at this before. These are the tasks that actually made a difference. Then there's quick access to the move the needle page. Now go through the projects that you finished. Again, quick access to the page. Typically, I found that the things that actually move the needle or have a real impact in your life come from finishing a project. What projects have you finished this month? And lastly, what are the major bottlenecks / things holding you back from progressing with your next major projects on your list? How can you work through these bottlenecks? This question is just a game changer for me, actually understanding what are the things holding me back. Asking myself that every single month and not waiting to the end of the year to do a New Year's resolution, but to tackle these things at least once a month and to understand what are my bottlenecks, what are the things that are holding me back. Now, I want to quickly mention, I could have made this more pretty, but everyone's aesthetics are very different. This is about the functionality, as hopefully you've been able to tell. The customized aesthetics are for you to play with. My priority was creating a space that helps you be organized, productive, and motivated. Again, subscribe on Gumroad for 10% off on launch. Let me know your thoughts in the comment. Thanks again for the support, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.